But before we get into talking about how to become a better developer, let's discuss your background. And so how did you get into web development?
Yeah, so by accident is the short answer. So I was, my whole life, I wanted to be an obstetrician and OBGYN. So I wanted to deliver babies for a living.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I was like the little 6-year-old kid watching like shows about birthing. And it was the weirdest thing. Okay. I know that's weird, but that's what I was convinced I was going to do. And then I got to college and my first semester, I almost failed out. It was so bad. And I was like, okay, maybe I should reevaluate this goal. I'm going to switch to actuarial science. And so I did that for a little bit, which is a lot of statistics and math. And that's where I took my first intro to computer science course. And so that's where I was exposed to binary, the history of computers and all that fun stuff. And I just clicked immediately. So my sophomore year declared a major in computer science. And that's where I got exposure to that. But I primarily just learned Java and, the computer sciencey type of things. It was more back-end dev. So when I had accepted my first role at IBM in Texas, I got a call one day from the hiring manager a few months before I was supposed to start. And they said, hey, we had an opening on the web development team. We were thinking about putting you in there. Are you cool with it? I was like, yeah, HTML and CSS are easy. Let's go for it. And then I got to the first day of my job and I realized, way in over my head. So that's the long answer of how I got into web development.
Is that like the typical sort of a back-end developer looking at front-end stuff and going, that's actually terribly easy compared to what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, that's a huge pet peeve is this nonsensical gatekeeping of oh, well, you do web dev. You're not a real developer. It's okay, I can still work in a database. I can still work with even assembly code. So yeah, I'm still a real developer. And regardless of what area of development you work in, you're a developer. Even if you're working on WordPress sites, and I hate that gatekeeping. So yeah, I could talk about that for a whole episode.
So, what was the thing that you said it clicked, right? You said that coding clicked. How did it click?
Yeah.
What was the thing that made you know that it clicked?
So I have always been very creative from a musical perspective. I played music my whole entire life. I taught myself piano around age 5. And then I played trumpet for how many years I couldn't even tell you, a long time. And so I was even debating a career in music for a while because I love the creative side of things. Yeah. I think what I like is that there's no one way to play a song, right? And so when I was in my computer science class and we were learning about programming, I was like, well, this is really cool because I get to use the analytical side of my brain to solve problems, but there's not one way to solve this problem. I get to explore different routes. And so that was what really intrigued me about it.
Okay. So it was an intriguing thing. You found that you were able to play around with solutions to problems and
yeah, it's all problem solving when you get down to it, right? So I was always that kid too that would walk around with those logic puzzle books. I just love that kind of stuff. So it just seemed kind of like a natural fit. And I think honestly, if I'm being real, I think part of the reason I stuck with computer science was proving people wrong. My whole life, we talk about women in tech being underrepresented and maybe having some barriers to overcome. My whole life, I've always wanted to prove people wrong who told me I couldn't do things. So I was in the fire department growing up. I did all the things that people didn't expect from me. I played trumpet, which is primarily male dominated. And so I think for me, that was very alluring of you know what? Yeah, I'm a woman, but I can still do this stuff and I'm going to kick butt at it.
Of course. Yes, of course.